a vital victory for the Dallas Mavericks. They have been struggling. Kyrie and Luka have been out. Kyrie did come back for that game and played pretty well.
He had 38, 6 and 6, including the game-winning assist.
I'll tell you what, Bontemps, the easiest way to piss MacMahon off these days is to throw even a side look at Kyrie.
Forget a side look. Forget a side look, just not to just openly bow down.
I'm just saying, like, pretty well. Come on. Okay, go on. Continue, please.
I've watched the man score 57 points. I've watched the man hit a championship-winning shot. I can say pretty well. All right. It's actually a compliment. Here's the thing. As we go into today's games, and there are 14, how many games are there today? There's 8 games. So there's a bunch of games to be played, but I'm just going to say this. The Dallas Mavericks are 4-6 in their last 10 games. It's not what you want when you're at this point in the season, when you're in an absolute dogfight for positioning. Okay. And you think, oh man, that's going to lose ground. And boy, it's unfortunate because the Luka injury and the Kyrie injury happened at the wrong time. And, I know people have been a little bit questioning about Kyrie, the way he's talked about his foot. And I can just tell you from knowing Kyrie for many years that, one time he had a sore right foot and he played on it and it developed into a sore left knee and he played on it and then he fractured his knee. And so I know that Kyrie is very cautious about playing through injury. But unfortunately, that means some losses. And man, 4-6, that's tough. Guess how much ground they've lost on the LA Clippers in the last 10 games?
0 ground. Yeah.
0. Guess how much ground they've lost to the Golden State Warriors in the last 10 games?
Nada.
0. Guess how much ground they've lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves in the last 10 games? 0. Guess how much ground the Lakers have lost in the last 10 games, despite kicking away a game to the Rockets and despite double kicking away a game to the Mavericks. They gained a game on all those teams.
All the way up to the 11 seed, baby.
Guess how much Dallas has lost ground on the number 1 Denver Nuggets. Now, granted, the Nuggets are playing in about an hour in Brooklyn. They lost 1 game because the Nuggets have been 5-5. And I read, granted, the Nuggets may win by 75 points today, but as of right now, they're not playing well. Does anybody in this Western Conference actually want to do anything?
Well, they want to. To the pod. Welcome to the pod, Brian, where I've been saying this for 2 months, but thank you. I'm glad we've established that the West isn't good. Thank you.
They want to. They're just not capable of it.
It's one thing if they're not good relative to the best teams in the East, but how about somebody expressing that they want to actually make a move?
This is the same thing that's been happening for weeks.
The beam lighters are raising their hand. Right now, like if you look at the Western Conference playoff picture, the only team that I think can really feel good about the way that things are going right now are the Beam Lighters in Sacramento.
Not a question.
The Mavericks, though, Maxi's 3 was the difference between the Mavericks waking up in 6th place or 9th place. And then the next day, Russ has more turnovers than buckets. The Clippers lose. The Mavericks somehow are a game over 500 and a game out of the 5th seed. That's how weak the West is right now. And the Lakers, you got that Maxey buzzer beater, which it was a wild turn of events, especially given the horrific final 2 seconds he had in San Antonio.
The Lakers screwed up 3 times in the last 10 seconds. It's very hard to lose that game, but you can do it. You got to have 3 screw ups in 10 seconds.
As bad as Maxey's last 2 seconds in San Antonio were, and the Mavs were able to recover to beat the tanking Spurs in overtime, which pleased both teams, Anthony Davis's last 7 seconds were even worse. The man fouled Maxey on a 3, split a pair of free throws, and then, wasn't able to get out.
Maxey was his man. Maxey was his man.
He spaced out.
I will say this, that pass was crazy. And for Maxey,
and the release.
First of all,
the release
for Kyrie, because there was like 1 point something left when Kyrie let the pass go. And it was a 103-mile-per-hour fastball right in the shooter's pocket. And then Maxey had to quick shoot it. Like he couldn't have his normal shooting motion. There's no way he would have gotten it off. So, I mean, it was a crazy play. When's the last time you saw an NBA head coach get in the bottom of a dog pile? J Kidd was definitely in that thing.
To go 4-6 in the last 10. I just want to toss that in there.
Right. So you have that Maxey 3, and then Walker Kessler His block of Grant Williams basically at the buzzer last night in Utah to seal the Jazz win. Suddenly, the Lakers, he's back to being Mac 11 seed. They're right out of that play-in picture right now.
That's crazy, man.
The nickname's back on, baby.
Well, and you mentioned the Kings. I saw them on Thursday in Brooklyn. Got their 42nd win, first time in 17 years that they are over 500 for a season. Soon to be the first time in 17 years that they've made the playoffs. And they're like the bean chance in Brooklyn. Everybody was fired up. Saw Vivek after the game. He was like, hey, it was pretty cool to hear light the beam chants here in a visiting arena. I said, yeah, it's little different days for you.
I think it also is a commentary on the Brooklyn Nets fan base, as long as you're analyzing the situation.
I mean, they were like the beam chants also in Washington yesterday when they won by 20 Saturday, which
I
you
could say
is a commentary on Washington too. But it's
I could say that, yeah.
They've got to have a beam that travels with them. If there's going to be like the beam chants, they got to have a beam. Yeah. You can put
just
it right
put
next
on the top
to
of the team bus
replay
when they roll out of the building.
There you go.
But yeah, but I mean, they should be feeling good, like you said, MacMahon, about where they're at. It's like we talked about last week. You look around the West, why shouldn't they think they can win a series or two, or more?
They shouldn't, because they are one of the worst defensive teams in the league. And in a normal year,
yes, and all these other teams stink.
I was going to say
all of these teams stink.
Hold on, I know they're one of the worst defensive teams in the league, which puts them in company with some of the other teams in the West playoff picture.
Most of
them. I know. Yeah, I mean, I know you're correct, Bontemps. Obviously, the West has been this way for a while, and we keep talking about it. But I am just, after seeing the events of the last couple of days, I'm just like, I just can't believe that these teams can't get their act together. And
Golden State, we have 70 games of evidence that they're not good.
Golden State makes this declaration. We're all right. We've had enough. We're going out on this road trip, and you're going to see.
Oof.
No. Blasted across the face 3 straight times. Like, I mean, the Clippers finally get some momentum. Okay, fine. Here we go. We're going to get into that 5 seed. Nope. Can't take care of the Magic on the home court. And I know that Kawhi didn't play that game, but geez, oh man. Westbrook was just total Westbrook down the stretch of that one. God, I mean, it's just Minnesota, they get a bit of a pass because Towns is like not coming back. And now Anthony Edwards has an ankle injury. They obviously have had just a bad season. They've had a window here. If they could have just gotten a little bit of fortune, they could have wiggled right up to where they thought they could have been. I take less umbrage with them because of that situation, but even them, like that end of the Celtics game the other night that Boston badly needed, which we're going to talk about the Celtics in a second. Like all of these teams, like Phoenix has kind of spun its wheels since Durant got hurt, and it hasn't penalized them at all. They're comfortably in the 4 seed, And
again, they're playing this afternoon. If they lose in Oklahoma City, they're 1 game up on the 5.
And are they worried about any of those dudes behind them all of a sudden making a run at him? No, they are not.
I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know how comfortably I would say when they're 1 game up. I'm just pointing it out for listeners.
They're 6 games over 500. The rest of the freaking conference is at 500 or below, basically. So they have not played well since Durant got hurt, which kind of surprised me because they had a tougher schedule, but I thought they were going to keep winning.
That could be, and this is kind of a waste of time because people know, but that could be a half game since the Clippers play the Trailblazers. And Russ said he's going to make up for that performance, baby. You got a motivated Russ going against Damian Lillard. We got drama. I just remember last year when Russ played on a back-to-back in after he got benched on the stretch of a game in LA, and they played the second night in Portland, and he said he couldn't play because his back was stiff from sitting.
Sitting on the bench.
That was one of the all-time great.
He said, I'm not used to sitting late in games. So I had.
What did he say earlier this year? They had another injury earlier this year when they first put him on the bench for a preseason game. I forgot what that was, but there was a couple of classic Russ, like I need to be out there injuries.
Yeah. Anyway. So I don't know. Yesterday, as I just watched the events of the last couple of days, it just drove home my frustration with the fact that nobody wants to step up. And look,
no, listen, hey, can I just peel the curtain back a little bit? Wendy is a very polite, well-mannered gentleman. I think we can all agree on that. And in our group text, Wendy went on a anti-West rant that was Fred VanVleet kind of vocabulary. I mean, there were multiple expletives in there. I was blushing as I was reading this stuff.
I mean, I'll let the Warriors off the hook on losing in LA at the start of this road trip. That's a tough game. But they declared their intentions, and they let the Hawks put up 127 on them, and then they let the Grizzlies, missing numerous key players, drop 133 on them.
With a refreshed Draymond Green, got to kick his feet up at the hotel while his team was playing in Atlanta. You know, days after Steve Kerr said Draymond always goes right up to the line, but never over. No concern about Draymond picking up that 16th technical foul.
My God.
By the way, the Grizzlies are asking the league office to rescind Dylan Brooks' 17th. So he's put himself one away from another suspension.
Right after getting fined. And he could have, he kind of got lucky that he only got fined $35,000 for pushing the cameraman over.
He said it was accidental, but
well, here's the thing. I don't know the gentleman who was pushed over. Those guys are in that job all the time. They're always in this situation. And what's their number one job? Hold the shot, right?
Yeah.
Hold the shot. He ended up on his back. So, my guess is it wasn't just a friendly touch.
And again, a little extendo arm.
Regardless of that, if it just happened in a standalone situation with Dylan, then you say, man, that was just an unfortunate situation. But the reason he got fined $35,000 was because of all of the other shenanigans he's been doing this year.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.